Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're taking a look at the terrain section of the Warhammer Games Workshop website. If you are new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and Horus Heresy content as well. Everything from reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion, tutorials, etc. But that being said, let's jump right in. So, recently did a video about some of the terrain and how quite a bit of it was going away. I was on like the kind of last chance to buy section, and now we see all that is gone. So just kind of scrolling through here, we see they still have like the Tau stuff on there. They have the new Nachmund set, which is going to be in the new kill team. A couple of like random pieces as well. We still see the kill team, kill zone Octarius available, which is of note, obviously. We'll get to that in a minute here. And then we see a little bit of like the newer kind of terrain here, some of like the older stuff for the Sector Mechanicus, etc. But we can see pretty much overall there's a couple select pieces still available, but the selection is severely diminished. So the majority of the Sector Mechanicus terrain is all gone. There's still a couple like random sets and everything here. There's still some stuff from the Sector Imperialis as well. But like these are more like, you know, not really like terrain pieces in the same sense, but obviously could be used as terrain still. Again, we still see like the containers and stuff like that, but we see like a real trimming of the Mechanicus and the, Imperialis as well. So now we've kind of replaced a lot of that with the Fronteris stuff, which is going to be in the new kill team set. And then, of course, we have like the new, I'm not sure exactly what they call this, the Sanctum Administratus, Manufactorum kind of, which is sort of like a blend between Sector Mechanicus and Sector Imperialis. It still has like the Mechanicus kind of look to it, but it has like the Imperialis kind of pillars and everything, so you can kind of have all of it on the table at the same time. But after looking through everything here, we see that quite a bit of the terrain is gone, and the actual selection is extremely limited. But the thing that really jumps out at me, because I was paying attention obviously to like the kill team releases, and we know like the Nachmund terrain is going to be coming out shortly in the new kill team set that's available for pre-order now, Morocco. But what we do see is that essentially like the Nachmund stuff is completely gone. Now the Nachmund starter set was recently available on here, and they just pulled it down when the new kill team set went up for order. So it's not like they just suddenly sold out of it or anything. They just pulled it down. But we saw previously they had done a kill team kill zone for Nachmund. I'm sorry, for Chalnath. And they haven't done one yet for Nachmund. So we would expect that there's one coming for Nachmund, as well as the Void Scarred and the Legionaries available separately. And then, of course, the book as well, now that you can't buy the box starter set anymore. Each other time when the new stuff came available, or the new kill team set came available, they went ahead and broke up the sets and then offered the individual components, the kill teams and the terrain, etc. So that being said, you know, when I started looking at all that and everything, I noticed that not only is the Nachmund set's just not available yet, we would expect it's coming probably in the next week or two, but there's no Chalnath terrain set here at all. So they actually like still have the Octarius set available, but there's no Chalnath set. So that was like pretty much the main way that you could get anything to do with Sector Imperialis. So, you know, we still have the Imperialis ruins, which is basically just like little bits of like rubble. But the actual Sector Imperialis stuff, with the exception of the Sisters of Battle piece, is all gone now. So this is the Battle Sanctum. It's essentially the Sisters of Battle piece of terrain. It has like special rules for them, but you could obviously use it compatible to build Sector Imperialis stuff as well. So at this point in time, you know, with the exception of the short little stint where it came back for Chalnath, the Sector Imperialis stuff is completely gone. There's like literally just the Battle Sanctum and then the ruins. As far as the Killzone Octarius, I don't know how long that's going to stay available for. I sort of just thought that the kill zones were going to be like a regular offering they had, but obviously we see the Kill Team Octarius kill zone is still available, but we don't see the Kill Team Chalnath set still available. So that must have sold out or went away. It doesn't say that it's just sold out or temporarily out of stock, unavailable online, whatever. So we would assume that that's gone, you know, for good until we hear otherwise. So at this point in time, the Sector Imperialis is, all but gone. You could basically buy these little ruins, or you can buy the Sisters of Battle piece of terrain. And then as far as the Sector Mechanicus, we still have the trans-tyrannic gantries, and then we also have the Mechanicus Sacristan Forge Shrine. And then, we have a couple of like these pieces, like the Mechanicus Galvanic Servo Haulers. But again, overall, Galvanic Magnavolt, overall, the Sector Mechanicus stuff is gone as well. So the Sector Imperialis stuff's gone, the Sector Mechanicus stuff's gone, all the older terrain pieces are gone as well. So what are they really doing here? Are they just replacing all the old stuff with the new stuff? Are they going to eventually offer it again? I mean, we don't really know. We don't really know. They didn't do anything where they were like phasing it out and they're going to bring back these pieces in the future. They didn't tell us anything like that. And then obviously my suspicions for the Fronteris Nachmund terrain ended up being what was available in the Nachmund, in the Morok set that's coming out right now. So this terrain essentially replaced like the old landing pad and a bunch of like the other stuff. So that being said, we know this is going to be offered at least for a little while, as it's just now coming out in the Nachmund set, and then we would assume down the line that Nachmund terrain is going to be just bundled back up into a Killzone Nachmund, which, to tell you the truth, if they end up doing that, this is going to look like a total ripoff, because the Nachmund terrain, if they end up bundling that, or the Morok terrain, if they end up bundling that, it's going to be basically everything right here minus one building and half of these like railways, and then it's going to be $112 to line up with the Octarius set, theoretically. So they're going to trim basically, what is it, $108 off the set, and they're going to remove one $80 building with the gantries. Yeah, it doesn't seem likely. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to up the price on the Killzone Morok set once that is eventually available. Obviously, that's still going to be months down the line, because we know that they've released the Killzone terrain every time they release the following expansion for Kill Team. So we got the Octarius terrain came out separately with the with the Chalnath expansion. So Chalnath Big Box came available, and then the Killzone Octarius came available. Then Nachmund Big Box came available, then Killzone Chalnath became available. So now we would assume, with Morok coming available, that Killzone Nachmund would then become available, as well as the kill teams, etc. So I'm assuming this will be gone by then, one way or the other, and then they will release essentially the Morok version, which again is just going to be all this right here, minus one building and the gantries. So that being said, the terrain options are actually pretty limited right now. They didn't do a ton of expansion onto like the Sanctum or the Manufactorum, Battlefield Manufactorum stuff. Everything that came in the starter set. They had like one initial expansion set that came with it, and that's been gone for ages. And then they had a couple of other like single building sets like this, and they're all gone as well. So even that, you either get this in the starter set, or you can buy the Battlefield expansion. But that's essentially, the only way to get this main terrain set. And then when it's all said and done, with the the Imperial stuff gone, and then the Mechanicus stuff, mostly gone as well. At this point in time, we're basically, we basically have like one big terrain set available. It's kind of crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. The new terrain is really cool. I really like it. And coming in the Morok set, it's going to be like a nice value and everything. Because trying to buy this for $70 is ridiculous. This for $80 is ridiculous. This for $70 is ridiculous. You put it all together, though, and bundle it up and give it a decent price tag, and all of a sudden it changes everything. I mean, it's actually a pretty nice set of terrain. And keep in mind, when we see this terrain here in the Nachmund set currently, this is 2 boards as opposed to this only being 1 board. So if we took all this terrain and then you jammed it into 1 board, it would be a pretty full board with a lot of line of sight blocking, a lot of good stuff going on here. So that's actually a really nice set. But it's interesting that they have basically removed so much terrain and only really have like 1 set of terrain available. Now, I shouldn't say they only have 1 set of terrain available, because the Octarius stuff is still available, but there's not like a ton to go along with that. So I guess realistically, your two choices at this point in time are like the Fronteris Nachmund stuff and the Killzone Octarius stuff. You know, the orc flavored stuff. Now the other option would be to basically put a couple of these sets together, which is legit. You could definitely do that. It's nice terrain. It fits right in. It has a lot of like good pieces. Everything from like, you know, your scatter terrain pieces to like nice big buildings that you can build on. You could obviously do, you know, something like this, which essentially is a lot of these same components built up into like a larger building. So there's definitely like options still to build essentially like 3 different styles. But it is really crazy to see that the Sector Mechanicus and Sector Imperialis stuff are all but removed at this point in time. Obviously, the Mech Boy Workshop has some of the same pieces in it as the Orc terrain from Octarius, and then like some additional pieces as well, so you can kind of build onto that. But it's just very interesting. When I noticed this, it kind of took me back because I was just kind of surprised to see that they would eliminate a lot of their terrain, which obviously the markup on their terrain and what they sell it for is quite hefty. So it seems strange that they would eliminate a lot of the terrain without replacing it with a lot of new stuff. So there's obviously still a decent amount of terrain available. You can build some pretty diverse boards, but when it's all said and done, there's really only like 2, arguably I would say, I guess 3 styles of terrain you can use. So you have the, you know, Manufactorum style. You have the Nachmund Fronteris style, and then you have the, you know, Octarius or orc style. But when it's all said and done, extremely limited at this point in time. So where does that take us? Well, it makes me think that there's a very high likelihood that we're about to get like a new line of terrain. So I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know what it's going to come out with. Part of me suspects that maybe we'll see some of it coming out or coming back with the Horus Heresy stuff. So we obviously have the new Horus Heresy game coming out. A lot of the terrain that we would use in 40k, you know, could easily be used in 30k as well. Obviously not like the orky stuff, but a lot of like the Imperial buildings and stuff like that. So maybe we will see them bring back, you know, some more of the Mechanicus stuff or some more of the Sector Imperialis stuff. Or maybe there is a whole new line of terrain coming. But it just really like kind of surprised me or just made me think. So very, very interesting to see that, you know, that Sector Imperialis stuff has been some of the main terrain used for 40k for a long time. You know, that was all featured in the original Kill Team box back in the day. So that being gone, and then on top of that, the Mechanicus stuff is the other main terrain for the game. That being gone as well, and then they've removed all of like the accessories, like your landing pad, like your trenches, your bunkers, you know, all that stuff is gone as well. So there's a seriously like limited amount of terrain available currently in the range. Now it doesn't mean you can't find some of the old stuff, doesn't mean you can't still get great deals on like the Chalnath stuff or something if you look for it, but it is very interesting that it's no longer part of their quote unquote like current or existing line. So interested to see where they go with that. I'm really hoping that they bring back some of like their jungle themed terrain, like some of the trees and stuff like that. I would really hope that they bring some of that back, or obviously like something brand new would be cool. This was something previously, the Fronteris Nachmund stuff, they had like this building basically made and a couple like rubble pieces as well, but didn't have any of like the other stuff here, like the gantries, you know, the landing pad, the, you know, the big satellite dish and the Aquila. Or no, that's not it. Whatever it's called, Auspex. I can't think of what the name is for the other one. But when it's all said and done, very, very interesting to see that they have eliminated so much from their current line without replacing it yet. So I do suspect that we're about to get a serious terrain drop. So maybe it's just going to be like one whole kind of like theme or line of terrain. Maybe it's just going to be a few pieces at first, and then they kind of build onto it like they did with the like Fronteris stuff. I'm really not sure, but I think it's safe to say that this is not going to be the situation going into the future. I think it's safe to say that if we don't get back the Sector Imperialis or the Sector Mechanicus stuff, which I don't think they would get rid of them and then bring them right back unless it's like a way for them to kind of change the prices around or like, you know, switch it up a bit. I think there's a high likelihood that we're getting a new set of terrain. And again, I really like The Octarius terrain, it's great. It works great. It's awesome. It looks super cool. But there's a certain amount of people, a large probably portion of people, that don't want an orc themed table or game board. So that kind of rules it out for a certain amount of, potential customers or fans. So when it's all said and done, you're really limited to the Fronteris Nachmund for a board right now, or piecing something together, with the Battlezone Manufactorum stuff. So we'll see. Definitely thought it was of note, so just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. Curious about your speculations, but I have a strong suspicion, and it's pretty clear that we're going to see another big terrain drop coming soon into the future. Hopefully it will tie in with the Horus Heresy stuff. It would be really cool to see a new line of terrain, or maybe they'll just kind of refresh and bring back the sector Imperialis stuff. I'm really not sure. But we'll have to see going into the future. So just wanted to do a quick little update, talk a little bit about the terrain. You can still get the Chalnath stuff currently if that's something that you wanted. So, while it's still available, if you do want some Sector Imperialis stuff, might be worth grabbing it up before it is hard to source. And as far as Sector Mechanicus stuff as well, obviously we just saw a ton of Sector Mechanicus stuff come out with the Nachmund box as well, so it shouldn't be a scarcity of that, around if you wanted to grab some of that up. But again, seeing it gone off of the site makes me really think that going into the future, some of these pieces may be hard to get. So if you have a big board or you want a couple more pieces for it, might be worth snagging those up in advance before it is too late. As again, we're seeing these things completely disappearing from the website. So let me know what you think down below. Obviously they could bring back any of this at any time in a different box set or individual boxes, etc. But I'm pretty familiar with the trends that Games Workshop does and has been doing for the last 10 or 20 years. So it's pretty easy to kind of figure out the direction they're going with it. And I suspect the direction they're going is to either expand on one of the existing ranges of terrain, which is pretty much either the Manufactorum style, which they kind of already did a full line of that, and everything's gone but these, or the Nachmund set, which again, the Frontier stuff they've just expanded on top of. So I think it's most likely that we're going to get some new terrain or bring back something that's been gone for a while. So for me, I hope it's the cool swamp trees and stuff like that. I really like the overall look of them and how many different options you have to make it more traditional kind of trees, similar to something like this, or completely crazy alien trees. But that's my suspicion. We're going to get some new terrain coming out soon. Definitely looking forward to seeing what it is. Hopefully it will be something to do with Horus Heresy. I'm not really sure, for people out there that do play 30K, what terrain do you typically use in it? Obviously if you have your own scratch made or off-brand stuff, but for do you use just regular 40K terrain? Do you use the Sector Imperialis, Sector Mechanicus? Does one kind of fit better into the time frame? Definitely curious about that. So but that's it for today. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you do enjoy this kind of video here, reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion, tutorials, make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anything to do with Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and of course warcry and Horus Heresy as well. But gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. So that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.